Welcome back everyone, and today we are starting a brand new journey on Smite SMP. This is the first episode of my Smite SMP series, and my goal is simple. Start from nothing, build a powerful base, and find the best ways to progress and make money on the server. When I first joined Smite SMP, I was just starting out like every other player. I didn't have a huge base, expensive items, or a lot of resources. Everything I wanted to build had to come from hard work and spending time collecting materials. The first moments on a survival server are always important. The decisions you make at the beginning can affect your entire journey. I wanted to avoid wasting time, so I focused on collecting useful resources that could help me grow faster. One of the first resources I started collecting was sugarcane. Sugarcane is one of those resources that might look simple at first, but it can become very useful when you build a proper setup. Having a steady supply means you can continue expanding and create a good foundation for your progress. I also collected pumpkins because they were another important resource for my plans. On a server like Smite SMP, finding ways to collect valuable items is one of the most important things you can do. The faster you create a system for gathering resources, the faster you can improve your base and your position on the server. After collecting these resources, I started planning my base. I didn't want to just place random blocks and create a temporary house. I wanted to build a place that I could continue upgrading as I played more. A good base is more than just a place to sleep. It becomes your main area where you store items, organize your resources, create farms, and prepare for future projects. Building the first version of my base took time. I had to collect materials, decide on the design, and slowly create the layout. It wasn't completed instantly, but every small improvement made the base better. One thing I learned while playing Smite SMP is that progress does not happen immediately. Many players want to become rich or powerful quickly, but the players who succeed are usually the ones who make a plan and stay consistent. Instead of rushing, I focused on creating a strong starting point. I wanted my base to be useful, organized, and ready for future upgrades. The sugarcane and pumpkin resources became the beginning of my journey. They helped me start building a system where I could continue collecting resources and work toward making more money. As I continued playing, I started improving my setup and making my base feel more complete. Every new addition helped me move closer to my goal of creating a powerful survival base on Smite SMP. Starting from nothing and seeing your progress grow is one of the best parts of Minecraft survival. Looking back at the beginning makes every upgrade feel more rewarding because you remember where you started. But this is only the beginning. There is still a lot more to build, more resources to collect, and more ways to improve my base. In the next part of this Smite SMP journey, I will continue expanding my base, show more progress, and explain how I started working toward making money faster on the server. After I had created the first version of my base, I knew that the next step was to improve my progress on Smite SMP. Starting a base is only the beginning. If you want to become stronger on a survival server, you need to constantly improve your resources, your equipment, and your strategy. While looking through everything I had collected, I noticed that I had many items that were not really useful anymore. Some of these items were just taking up space in my storage, and instead of keeping them there, I decided to turn them into something more valuable. I started selling items that I didn't need. This was a good way to make some extra money without having to spend hours collecting new resources. On a server with an economy, every item can have a purpose. Sometimes the things you think are useless can actually help you get closer to your next goal. Selling those extra items helped me organize my storage and gave me more money to spend on things that could actually improve my survival journey. After making some money, I decided to buy something that would become very useful later: Ender Pearls. Ender Pearls are one of the most important items in Minecraft. They allow you to move quickly, escape dangerous situations, and prepare for bigger adventures. Having Ender Pearls ready gave me more freedom while exploring the world and working on my base. After improving my resources, I turned my attention back to my base. At the start, my base was mainly focused on being practical. I needed a place to store my items, survive, and organize everything I collected. But after making progress, I wanted to change the look of my base. I wanted it to feel less like a simple survival starter base and more like a place that showed my journey on Smite SMP. I started decorating and improving different areas. Even small details can completely change how a base feels. A few improvements, better organization, and a little creativity can make a normal base become something much more interesting. For me, building a base is not only about making something useful. It is also about creating a place that represents your progress. Every block place shows the time and effort you put into your world. While improving my base, I also discovered something interesting underneath it. Below the surface was a hidden mine shaft. Finding a mine shaft directly under my base was a huge surprise because underground areas can contain some of the most valuable resources in Minecraft. Instead of only focusing on the surface, I now had a whole underground area waiting to be explored. I decided to explore the mine shaft and see what I could find. As I went deeper underground, I started searching through the tunnels and looking for anything valuable. During my exploration, I managed to find diamonds. Finding diamonds is always an exciting moment in Minecraft because they are one of the most important resources for upgrading your tools, armor, and equipment. After spending time gathering resources and exploring the underground, finding diamonds felt like a big step forward. These diamonds would help me continue improving my gear and become stronger on the server. But the discoveries did not stop there. While exploring the mine shaft, I also found something even more interesting: a spider spawner. Finding a spawner underground is always exciting because it opens up new possibilities. A spider spawner can become useful for future projects, especially when you want to create farms or collect resources more efficiently. This discovery gave me another project to think about in the future. Instead of just having a base above ground, I now had an entire underground area with opportunities waiting to be explored. This is what makes Minecraft survival so fun. You can start with a simple plan, but while exploring and building, you discover new things that completely change your journey. From selling extra items, buying ender pearls, upgrading my base, exploring the mineshaft, finding diamonds, and discovering a spider spawner, my Smite SMP adventure was becoming bigger with every step. But this was only another chapter of the journey. There are still more upgrades to make, more resources to collect, and more goals to achieve. In the next part, I will continue improving my base, working on my economy, and showing more of my progress on Smite SMP. After exploring the mineshaft underneath my base, I continued searching through the underground tunnels to see what else I could discover. While moving through the dark areas of the mineshaft, I started hearing something unusual. At first, I wasn't completely sure what it was, but the sound became clearer the closer I got. It was the sound of cave spiders. I followed the noises and eventually discovered a cave spider spawner hidden inside the mineshaft. Finding a spawner underground is always an exciting moment because you never know what you are going to find while exploring. A cave spider spawner can become very useful because it has the potential to create future farms and provide important resources. It was a great discovery, and I immediately started thinking about what I could do with it. I wanted to take the spawner and move it somewhere closer to my base, but then I remembered something important. In Minecraft, you cannot simply break a spawner and pick it up. You need special tools or features, and without Silk Touch, the spawner cannot be collected. I tried to figure out if there was a way to save it, but unfortunately, I did not have what I needed at that moment. So instead of risking losing everything, I decided it was better to leave the spawner there and come back another time when I was more prepared. After exploring the mineshaft, finding diamonds, and discovering the cave spider spawner, I returned back to my base. Going back to the base gave me time to organize my items, store the resources I collected, and think about my next steps on Smite SMP. Sometimes in survival Minecraft, you need to slow down and prepare before making your next move. It is not always about rushing into every opportunity. Planning ahead can save you from losing valuable progress. After staying at my base for a while, I decided it was time to explore again and search for more resources. I used the RTP command to randomly teleport to a new location and start looking for new areas to explore. However, something unexpected happened. The RTP system did not work perfectly. Instead of sending me directly to a new area in the overworld, it had some kind of problem and teleported me somewhere completely different. I ended up in the Nether. I was surprised because that was not what I was expecting. I tried using RTP again, but the problem continued, and I was teleported to the Nether another time. After dealing with the strange teleportation issue, I finally managed to get back to the overworld and continue my search. Even though the RTP problem was unexpected, it became another memorable moment in my Smite SMP journey. Sometimes the unexpected events are what make survival servers more interesting. From exploring underground tunnels, discovering a cave spider spawner, returning safely to my base, and dealing with the strange RTP teleportation problem, my adventure on Smite SMP continued. Every journey brings new challenges, and every challenge gives me a chance to improve and prepare for what comes next. After finally getting back to the overworld, I continued my journey on Smite SMP. Even though the RTP problem was unexpected, I didn't let it stop my progress. Every survival server has moments where things do not go exactly as planned, but those moments are part of the adventure. My next goal was to continue searching for useful resources and improve my position on the server. The more time I spent playing, the more I realized that progress on Smite SMP is all about making smart decisions. Instead of only collecting random items, I wanted every trip to have a purpose. Every resource I collected could help me improve my base, increase my money, or prepare for future projects. After returning from exploring, I went back to my base to organize everything I had collected. Having a clean and organized storage system is extremely important because it saves a lot of time later. When you are playing on a survival server, you can collect hundreds of different items. Without organization, finding the resources you need becomes much harder. A good storage system helps you focus on building and progressing instead of searching through random chests. I also continued improving the area around my base. At the beginning, my base was only focused on being useful, but now I wanted to make it look more complete. Small improvements can make a huge difference. Changing layouts, adding details, and making the area feel more connected can transform a simple survival base into something much more impressive. While working on my base, I kept thinking about my future plans on Smite SMP. I wanted to continue expanding, earn more money, and create a setup that would allow me to progress faster. The economy on the server is an important part of the experience. Making money gives you more opportunities because you can buy useful items, trade with other players, and invest in upgrades. That is why I started focusing more on collecting valuable resources and finding ways to improve my income. The farms I created earlier, especially sugarcane and pumpkins, became an important part of my strategy. They gave me a reliable way to collect resources while continuing to work on other projects. One of the biggest lessons from starting on Smite SMP is that building a successful base takes time. You don't create everything instantly. It requires patience, planning, and many small improvements. Looking back at how I started, it is interesting to see how much changed. I went from joining the server with almost nothing to having a base, resources, money, and future plans. But the journey was far from over. There were still many things I wanted to explore and many upgrades I wanted to make. The next steps would be about improving my setup even more, finding better ways to make money, and continuing to grow stronger on Smite SMP. Every adventure on this server brings something new. Whether it is discovering a hidden mineshaft, finding valuable resources, or improving my base, there is always something waiting to happen. And this is only the beginning of my Smite SMP journey. After continuing my adventure on Smite SMP, I kept exploring the world and searching for new resources that could help me improve my base and my progress on the server. During one of my explorations, I discovered something very interesting: cocoa beans. At first, finding cocoa beans might not seem like a huge discovery, but on a survival server, every resource can become important. The more useful items you collect, the more opportunities you have to improve your base and create new ways to make money. I learned that cocoa beans need jungle logs in order to grow. Without jungle wood, I could not create a proper cocoa bean farm. So I decided to collect some jungle logs and bring them back to my base. I managed to collect 3 jungle logs. It was not a huge amount, but it was enough to start thinking about a future farm. When I returned back to my base with the cocoa beans and jungle logs, I started thinking about their potential. I realized that this could become another good source of income on Smite SMP. This was another important moment in my journey because I was not just collecting random items anymore. I was starting to understand which resources could help me progress and which ones could become valuable in the future. The small cocoa bean project was just the beginning. A small amount of resources can eventually turn into a much bigger farm and a much better money-making system. After spending some time at my base, I decided to continue exploring and searching for more resources. I used RTP again to find a new location and continue my adventure. However, something unexpected happened. Instead of teleporting me somewhere in the overworld like I expected, RTP had another problem. Once again, I was suddenly sent to the Nether. This was not part of my plan. I was expecting to explore new areas, find resources, and continue building my progress, but instead I ended up in a completely different dimension. After dealing with the unexpected teleport, I managed to return back to the overworld and continue my journey. Once I was back safely, I decided that I needed some basic tools to help me with my search. I crafted a crafting table and created an axe because I needed better equipment for collecting resources, especially if I wanted to find more jungle logs. With my new tools ready, I started walking through the world, searching for the resources I needed. The goal was simple: find more jungle wood so I could continue improving my cocoa bean project and prepare for future upgrades. While exploring, I discovered something else that could become very useful. I found 3 pieces of obsidian. Finding obsidian was an exciting moment because I had a plan for it. Obsidian is an important material in Minecraft, and I needed it for something very useful: creating an enchanting table. An enchanting table would allow me to improve my tools and equipment with powerful enchantments. This would help me become stronger, collect resources faster, and prepare for bigger challenges on Smite SMP. At this point in my journey, every discovery was connected to another goal. The cocoa beans could become a money source, the jungle logs could help me build a farm, and the obsidian could help me create better equipment. This is what makes Minecraft survival so interesting. One small discovery can lead to a completely new project. From finding cocoa beans, collecting jungle logs, dealing with the strange RTP teleportation, exploring new areas, and discovering obsidian, my Smite SMP adventure continued to grow. I was slowly building more systems, collecting more resources, and preparing myself for the next steps on the server. The journey was still far from finished, and there were many more upgrades and discoveries waiting ahead. After collecting the obsidian and continuing my adventure, I decided that it was time to explore even more of the world. There were still plenty of resources to discover, and I wanted to see what else Smite SMP had to offer. I used the RTP command once again, hoping it would send me somewhere interesting. This time, I was lucky. Instead of ending up somewhere dangerous, I was teleported near a huge cave. When I saw the giant cave, I knew there could be many resources waiting underground. Before exploring deeper, I decided to have a little fun. I tried a clutch jump just for entertainment. It was a risky moment, but thankfully I managed to survive. After that small challenge, I continued exploring around the cave and searching for useful resources. While exploring the area, I found something that immediately caught my attention: cherry beans. At first, I wasn't sure how valuable they were, so I decided to check how much money they could make on the server. When I looked at the price, I was surprised. These cherry beans could make around $40. That was a great discovery because it meant I had found another possible way to earn money on Smite SMP. Sometimes the resources that look normal at first can actually become very valuable. Because of that, I decided to collect as many as I could. In the end, I managed to collect 21 cherry beans. While continuing my exploration, I suddenly encountered 2 modded skeletons. They were blocking my way, so I had to fight them. The battle was challenging, but after defeating both skeletons, I was able to continue my journey and search for more interesting things. After the fight, I discovered something completely unexpected. I found a trap. I was surprised because I did not expect to find something like this while exploring. Instead of destroying it immediately, I decided to leave it and investigate what was around it. While looking around, I noticed 2 furnaces that were smelting stone. I did not know why they were there, but they had already created something useful: smooth stone. Since I had future building plans, I decided to collect the smooth stone. I took 23 smooth stone blocks because I wanted to use them for a future project. One of my goals was to build an automatic tree farm. Having enough building materials would help me create bigger and more useful systems for my base. After collecting the smooth stone, I decided to continue exploring. However, I also knew that being far away from my base could be dangerous. Losing all my items after collecting valuable resources would be a disaster. Because of that, I decided to use RTP again. But once again, something unexpected happened. Instead of teleporting me to a normal location in the overworld, RTP sent me into the Nether. This was becoming a strange experience. I expected to find new places in the overworld, but instead I kept traveling between different dimensions. The Nether was dangerous, and I did not want to risk losing my progress, so I quickly decided to use RTP again. After typing RTP another time, I was surprised once again. This time, I was teleported into the End dimension. I was not expecting to be there at all. The End is a completely different world filled with dangers, especially Endermen. I started walking around for a while, carefully exploring the area and looking for a safe place. After some time, I found a small building where I could stay protected from Endermen. It was a useful place because it gave me somewhere safe to stand while exploring the End. While I was there, I decided to fight one Enderman. The battle was dangerous, but I managed to defeat it. It was another unexpected challenge that became part of my Smite SMP adventure. After exploring the End for a little longer, I decided that it was time to return to the overworld. Before leaving, I wanted to make the moment a little more funny. I created a small joke by making an emoji at the little protected building. It was just a small thing, but moments like this make the adventure more entertaining. After that, I turned my screen away and used RTP again, hoping that this time I would finally return to the overworld. Luckily, I successfully made it back. After all the unexpected events, I was finally back where I wanted to be. From finding valuable cherry beans, fighting skeletons, discovering a strange trap, collecting smooth stone, accidentally visiting the Nether, exploring the End, defeating an Enderman, and finally returning safely, this became one of the most random and memorable adventures of my Smite SMP journey. Sometimes the best Minecraft moments are not planned. They happen randomly while you are exploring, and they create stories that you never expected. And this was only another chapter of my journey on Smite SMP. After everything that happened during my adventure, I finally managed to teleport back to the overworld. After traveling through different dimensions, finding unexpected places, and collecting valuable resources, I was finally back in the normal world again. I started walking around, exploring the area and looking for anything interesting that could help me continue my progress on Smite SMP. While walking, I found something that immediately made me stop. A wolf. It was a cute little wolf sitting there, and for a moment I thought this could be the perfect opportunity to get a new companion for my survival journey. Having a wolf in Minecraft is always special. It is not just another animal. It becomes a companion that follows you through your adventures and helps protect you. I quickly searched through my inventory because I needed bones to tame the wolf. Unfortunately, I had a problem. I had no skeleton bones. I checked again, hoping that maybe I had some hidden somewhere, but there was nothing. Without bones, I could not tame the wolf and make it my own puppy. It was disappointing because I was ready to bring it back to my base, but sometimes Minecraft does not give you everything you need at the right moment. Instead of staying there, I decided to continue my journey. I teleported back to my home and returned safely to my base. Once I arrived, I started organizing everything I had collected during my adventure. I placed my loot inside my storage and made sure my important items were safe. After taking some time to prepare, I decided that my adventure was not finished yet. I wanted to explore again and see what else I could find. So I used RTP once more. But this time, something unexpected happened again. I was teleported into the End dimension. The End was not where I planned to go, but since I was already there, I decided to make the most out of the situation. I looked around and started thinking about what I could do. I had one last Ender Pearl with me, and I decided to use it to teleport to another location in the End. It was a risky decision because every resource matters, especially when you are far away from safety. After using my final Ender Pearl, I continued exploring the End. While walking around, I discovered something useful: chorus fruit. Chorus fruit is a unique resource that can only be found in the end, so finding it was another interesting part of my adventure. I collected some of the chorus fruit because I knew it could have value. After collecting enough, I decided to sell half of them. This was another step toward making money on Smite SMP. Slowly, I was learning which resources were valuable and how to use them to improve my progress. But my biggest challenge was still ahead. While exploring the end, I found a small base-like area where Endermen were nearby. I immediately saw an opportunity. Ender pearls are extremely useful, and collecting more of them would help me with future exploration and travel. So I decided to fight the Endermen. One by one, I started taking them down. The fights were dangerous because Endermen can deal a lot of damage if you make a mistake. But I continued fighting and managed to defeat them. After some time, I had successfully killed 7 Endermen. From those battles, I collected 7 Ender pearls. This was a huge achievement because Ender pearls are one of the most valuable items for traveling and surviving. However, there was one moment where everything almost went wrong. At one point, I decided to attack another Enderman. I rushed toward it, but the fight did not go as planned. Suddenly, my health dropped extremely low. I was left with only 2 hearts. That was a scary moment because my base was very far away, and dying in the end could mean losing everything I had collected. I knew I had to be careful. Instead of continuing the fight, I waited for the Enderman to move away and focused on surviving. The goal was no longer to collect more items. The goal was to get home alive. I quickly started moving back toward safety. Every step mattered because one mistake could end the entire adventure. After traveling through the end, avoiding more danger, and protecting my remaining health, I finally made it back safely. I survived the end dimension without dying. Looking back at this adventure, so many unexpected things happened. I found a wolf that I could not tame, traveled through different dimensions, discovered chorus fruit, collected ender pearls, fought endermen, and survived a dangerous situation with only 2 hearts remaining. This journey showed that on Smite SMP, every adventure can become a story. Sometimes things do not go according to plan, but those moments create the best memories. From starting with nothing, building my base, collecting resources, making money, exploring caves, discovering rare places, and surviving dangerous situations, my Smite SMP journey continued to grow. And this is only the beginning. There are still many more projects to build, more resources to collect, and more adventures waiting in the future. Thank you for watching this episode of my Smite SMP journey, and I will see you in the next adventure. And that was the end of my first Smite SMP adventure. This episode was full of unexpected moments, from building my first base, finding valuable resources, exploring caves, discovering new places, traveling through different dimensions, fighting dangerous mobs, and surviving situations where I almost lost everything. Thank you everyone for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, write a comment, and subscribe for more Smite SMP videos and future adventures. Your support helps me continue making more videos and improving the series. I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.